Hi guys, welcome. It is Monday and that means that it's time for our weekly Diets Are Fattening video on YouTube that I also share on Instagram and our Facebook pages. So welcome, so glad you're here with me. And what we do here today is go over some parts of our workbook, and then I answer questions that I've seen in our private Facebook groups as well as on YouTube. And it's just a great way for you to join me live or later, and you can ask questions as we go. And I'm very delighted to answer all of them. So here we go with some questions from this week, which were really great. And I'll just get right to it. Somebody posted, I don't use names because we have private groups, and if you're interested in joining the private groups, the links are right below. There's always, new diets coming out, and there's always the big, okay, this is the one, this is the one, this is the one. And guys, that's been going on for decades. It's not ever going to change. Diets and a diet mentality will not get you thin. It will get you to be a dieter. And being a dieter and being a thin person are completely different. Being a dieter is debilitating. It is depressing. It is restrictive. It is the opposite of how Mother Nature intended you to eat. So here at dietsarefattening.com, we don't just say, okay, diets are terrible, don't do them. We also offer a way out, a way to be in your happy, healthy weight range. And that's what my message is all about. It's close to mindful eating or intuitive eating, but a lot of those programs do not really tackle, okay, so stop dieting and eat mindfully, eat intuitively, but how do you lose weight? Because I know that's what you want. I know that's what I wanted. And so that's what we do here. Yes, you absolutely can. And it is so much more life-affirming, so much more joyful, and so much easier than dieting. If you have ever dieted and lost weight, then you can do this. So I'm going to, again, get to the first question that is something that, or a comment I should say, that was in our private group that is, I know something a ton of you guys are thinking about, and it is feeling like a failure because you've been a dieter and you kind of get that this is a good thing to do to build your healthy thin mentality instead, but you feel like a failure because you haven't been able to connect with your hunger, and you keep that scale. You maybe on the comment that was listed, she put it in the Goodwill bag and she keeps getting it back out. By the way, if you're new, yeah, you don't weigh yourself, and I'll tell you why in a second. And don't let that scare you. There's a really good reason why you don't weigh yourself, and it's not just to let go and gain weight without tracking. That's not the point. But I'll get to that in a second. But she was saying, how do I stop feeling like a failure? How do I get connected with your healthy thin mentality? And here's the thing. In order to build your healthy thin mentality, you have to let go of your diet mentality. So if you're trying to build your healthy thin mentality, which is what we do here, but you haven't left room for it because you have this enormous diet mentality, which I had for 25 years myself. I know it really well. I know how it works. I know how the psychology of that infiltrates everything you do about food and eating and exercise, all of that. So that's an enormous big space in your brain that you use, that you fill up with a diet mentality. You have to get rid of that diet mentality to make room for healthy thin mentality. And also, if you get rid of your healthy thin mentality and you don't replace it with something, that's also a problem. So step one is understanding and truly believing that a diet mentality doesn't work. And that's why in our workbook, the first week is a real good look at your own personal history of what dieting has actually meant in your life, right? Because if you don't get that, you're not gonna believe that it is a thing that you should get rid of. In other words, if you're kind of going, well, yeah, I was able to kind of track my weight and go up and down, but I didn't explode to 250 pounds or 300 or whatever. And so maybe that was a success. No, that's not a success. That is a diet mentality keeping you in a rigid place and maybe not and not getting you where you want to be, but you think because you haven't gotten really obese, or even if you have, that must be some kind of success. It's not. What you want to do is get to your happy, healthy weight range, not just subsist on, well, I'm not, I could be bigger. Okay, but really that's not a very optimistic or bright future that you're seeing for yourself in terms of your body. If you want to be in your happy, healthy weight range, don't be satisfied with being, way heavier than you want to be because you're happy you're not even heavier, right? That's not what this message is about. This message is about getting to your happy, healthy weight range and staying there. So, okay, back to this diet mentality thing. You need to understand the concept of what a diet mentality does to you. You guys, that's why I have all these blogs on our dietsarefattening.com website. That's why I have a book and I have a workbook, because I'm trying to give as much information to you as I can. But if you're struggling with building your healthy thin mentality, go back to step one and go, have you really embraced, have you really felt what a diet mentality has done to you? Have you kind of skimmed over that part and go, yeah, that sounds kind of familiar, but I don't really believe that. You have to believe and understand. It's not even belief. You have to educate yourself by looking at your past with honesty and with, okay, this is what I did and this is the result. And when you actually embrace that, go, yeah, that's my truth. Okay, so now what are you going to do? Now are you going to be happy just continuing to diet because you think, well, at least I'm not, huge or whatever I hear from people, feeling, well, it's mildly successful. That's not success. That's not good enough for you. You need to take that honest look at your life, at your diet, at your history of dieting, and what the true numbers have been and where you are now. And then you need to go, okay, this doesn't work. So you need to just own that. So this doesn't work. I don't weigh what I want to weigh. I'm not the size I want to be. Why am I accepting that? That's not good enough for you, okay? So once you, and it's not work to that, but it takes attention. It takes you actually having an honest talk with yourself and forget all the other voices you hear, whether it's your, a mom or a boyfriend or a girlfriend, and all the other garbage you hear directed at you and your body and what you should weigh and what you weigh now and all that. Just stop. Don't listen to that. Instead, say to yourself, okay, here I am. This has been the result of my relationship with food and eating. I'm in the body that I am now because of that, right? And if you're not happy there, don't let the fear of becoming even bigger or even less happy with your body deter you from getting to where you want to be, which is in your happy, healthy weight range. And that weight range is defined by you, not me, not anybody else. It's you, and you know where you feel good, right? And I always say, as a caveat here, that we're not all born to be lanky, tall people, right? Or just lanky. We have to respect our body types. So when you try, because I know some of you guys really don't need to lose weight who are here with me and are normalize your dog breeds, right? Which is, okay, it looks like my stream left for a minute, but I think it's back. That respect what your body type is now. Respect that. Don't try to diet your way into being a tall, skinny person if you were born a medium-sized, rounder person. And round is fine. Like, you can imagine all the different types of dogs that we accept at their happy, healthy weight range, and we don't define them as fat or overweight if they're not, long and skinny. They weren't born that way, and we still love them. So do that for yourself too. I know I always tried to diet my way, skinny and tall. That's never going to happen, right? Now I know what I am. When I think about me as a, I know this sounds corny, but as a dog breed or whatever, I think of myself as a Cocker Spaniel, just kind of medium everywhere. And that's where I live, and that's happy for me. People ask me this, so I'll tell you, I'm 5'5", I weigh 130 pounds, and that's where I am, that's where I'm happy, and that is where I stay so easily, having a healthy thin mentality and having ditched my diet mentality that I had from ages 15 to 40, and I'm now 59, and I've been a healthy thin mentality person for 19 years, coming on 20, and I'm telling you guys, it's the best gift you'll ever give yourself. So kind of a sidetrack, but when you guys are out there and you're really trying to do this and you're feeling like a failure, revisit the beginning of this journey and say, have I really convinced myself that, or not convinced myself, if I really recognize the true pattern of my life with food, eating, and diet behavior, where has it really gotten me? So that you don't fool yourself into thinking that it's a better scenario than it really was. That's why the first chapter of the workbook, the first 12 weeks of your healthy thin mentality, have you going over this and really, documenting what was my first diet, how did that go? And guys, listen, the first diet messes us up for the rest of our lives, because I remember my first diet, so easy, lost weight so quickly. I'm like, oh, what's the big deal? Dieting, this is, I don't know what my mom is talking about because she was always dieting. This is easy. Yeah, it's easy the first time, but then your relationship with food and eating is broken. You gain the weight back anyway, even though the diet was easy, because it's still your body reacting to you putting yourself on a famine, which is what dieting does. And your body, which was designed to survive, turns into a calorie hoarding machine where the same amount of food before your diet didn't make you gain weight. After your diet, it does, at least for a while. And then all the other physiological and social physiological and psychological changes that occur after you diet, including you're more attracted to food, your body needs less food, you store fat more than muscle because you've lost muscle and fat, you gain back muscle, you gain back fat only unless you're doing some heavy duty weightlifting. And so I'm just kind of going over the basics of a healthy thin mentality premise that the things that you've been taught do not work. They make you a dieter, not a thin person. So for the person who posted in Facebook, and I don't use names because that's a private group, revisit that. Go back. And the thing about the scale, which I mentioned a few minutes ago, and I talk about this a lot, guys, I know you think the scale keeps you honest. It doesn't keep you honest. It keeps you disconnected from listening to your body. Because you go, okay, well, I'll eat this and then tomorrow I'll weigh myself and I'll see how much I weigh, see if I was bad or good, if I ate too much. That makes no sense. When you're sitting in that moment, deciding if you should eat more, what you should eat, listen to your body. Don't have that thing where you don't stay in the moment. Staying in the moment is really important with the healthy thin mentality. Don't lose that. Say to yourself, okay, I think I'm hungry. I'm going to eat now. I'm not going to worry or put this decision to a future event, like I'm going to weigh myself tomorrow and then I'll know. And then if I was bad, I'll know. And then I won't eat as much tomorrow. That if you're a really rigid person and you've done that your whole life, I do understand, because I did that. I understand how that's a security blanket in disguise. It seems like a security blanket, but what it's really hiding is the disconnection from you and your body, from you listening to your body. So I'm telling you, I know it's hard. It's probably the hardest thing to do when you're building your healthy thin mentality, is to let go of that scale. And instead of having that security blanket of a scale where, well, I won't all of a sudden be 10 pounds up because I'll be weighing myself and I'll know. Okay, possibly, but you also won't build your healthy thin mentality because you'll be relying on a number instead of your body to know what, when, and how much to eat. And that's the relationship you want to rebuild to get a healthy thin mentality, to solve this problem for yourself for the rest of your life. Not going up and down, not going on the latest new diet. So I started in the beginning talking about there's always new diets. Okay, so someone asked about the DASH diet. And you know what? It's so hilarious. When you look at all the diets that are recommended over time, in general, they're all the same. It's like no big revelation. It's all, eat more greens and healthy leafy vegetables and protein, lean protein. And then it's always how much, carbohydrates. Well, keto is none, but, some like the DASH diet say, healthful carbohydrates. There's nothing new there, guys. None of these are saying anything new. I mean, intermittent fasting talks about not eating for periods of time, and that helps your body to be able to do other tasks besides digesting food. Okay, but you know what? With your healthy thin mentality, that happens anyway. You will go for longer periods of time as you get into this, probably without eating. For me, and I know I say this a lot, this most specific example is, when you're on a diet, they say wake up and have breakfast, it's the most important meal of the day, jumpstart your metabolism. That's all a crock, you guys. There's no need for you to jumpstart your metabolism. Let's say, okay, I would get up and I'd eat, even though I wasn't hungry, 300 calories. I don't count calories, I'm just saying it so you know how much I'm talking about. And then, so that was jumpstarting my metabolism. Okay, how much did that jumpstart it? Maybe I would have like an extra 100 calories to spend for the day, maybe, and that's not even scientifically true, but let's just give that theory that little break and say, okay, fine, if you eat early, you get to eat more in the day. Okay, but I ate 300, so there's I'm actually hurting myself because instead of just waiting till I was hungry to eat, I ate 300 calories so I could eat 100 calories more in the day. It makes no sense at all. Jump-starting your metabolism is a cliche. It doesn't work. It disconnects you from hunger and satiety. It's one of those stupid things that the diet industry tells us to do. And, I know if doctors say that to you, still, listen to your body. our bodies and brains are so much more complicated, are so much more complex than anything we've ever invented, are likely to ever invent. There are trillions of neurons busting around, synapses, billions of neurons, trillions of synapses going on all the time. You can't argue with that. Let it happen. Listen. Don't look at some sheet that a doctor gives you, or if you're going to a doctor, I don't want to tell you not to listen to your doctor, but this is what I did. I would have my doctor tell me, oh yeah, you should eat this and this and this, and go home with a list and go, oh, okay. When in fact, my body knew exactly what I needed, what I craved, and that's what you should follow. Now, in order to do that and follow your body, you have to pay attention, right? So if your body leads you to eat like the DASH diet, great. But maybe yours will, maybe yours won't. And if you get there by following your body versus a set of rules, it feels so completely different. It's sustainable. It's really not sustainable long term if you, for most people, if you're following a list of rules. Julie, I made a commitment to myself to stay off the scale for the rest of September. In the past, I've stepped on the scale, and if it goes up a couple of pounds, I totally give up on this HTM. Yes, healthy thin mentality for you guys. Okay, Julie, that's a great start, but I want you to do more than that. I want you to give it up, because if it's, and I know that's hard, and it was hard for me too, believe me, but it's the best thing I ever did. Because if you have that looming at you at the end of September, it's still there. It's the same cause and effect. You won't be bombarding yourself with that message daily, but instead, and I say this in the book, if you're really haunted by, oh my God, I'm just going to gain so much weight building this, put on a pair of jeans that you know how they fit. And, whether it's you just washed them, whatever, make sure, because jeans stretch and stuff. And then use your jeans, because that's a more accurate measure, because you may get on the scale in the end of September, and it may be some kind of a hormonal time for you, so you may be up a little bit as a normal fluctuation in life, and normal, not fat, but just normal water retention and all that, and then you get off the scale and you're like, wow, see, I've gained weight. So don't do that to yourself. Even jeans aren't perfect, but over time, a scale will give you an accurate measure of what you weigh, but we don't use it like that. So I weigh myself when I go to the doctor once a year. That's it. And so over time, that would be an accurate measure. But when you use it day to day or even month to month, there's fluctuations there that it doesn't account for, and it'll give you feedback that isn't right for you, that isn't accurate, that makes you feel bad and derails you from what you're trying to do here, which is build your healthy thin mentality, and know that when you're sitting there eating and there's food on your plate, you're going, okay, let's see, I'm not sure I'm hungry, but if I eat this and then I weigh myself tomorrow, then I'll know if that was bad or not. But that's not true at all. That's not true at all. The way you know whether you should be eating or not is when you put food in your mouth, if it tastes amazing, if your taste buds light up, if you feel better, if you just kind of just feel stronger, more alert and everything. That's what food should be doing for you, and water or whatever you're drinking too. And you can absolutely drink calories. If you like orange juice or I don't know, whatever, drink it. It's okay. Your body knows how many calories you drank. And I'm not saying your body's calorie counting, but it will send you different hunger and satiety signals based on that nutrition that you took in, right? And I'm using the word nutrition, which I don't use that often because I think people hyperventilate over nutrition instead of getting the quantities under control. But once you have your healthy thin mentality, the quantities you will be led to nutrition too, but the quantity is first. There was a great post, I forget if I mentioned it last week. No, last week was Labor Day, so we weren't here. It was a post about a guy who just ate all junk food for a month or 2 months, I forget now. If you go in our feed, you'll see it. And he lost weight, all his numbers, his high blood pressure, cholesterol, all were much better. Yeah, because it is quality of food is important, but guys, it's quantity. It's quantity. So when you're thinking about the scale and your diet mentality and your healthy thin mentality and you're worrying and we all get so worried, just calm down and say to yourself, my only job here is to match eating with hunger. That is my only job. And if you've dieted ever and been able to do that, you can do this. This is so much easier than that. And it's so much more fun and it's so much more enjoyable. And you feel like a grown-up. when you're eating, instead of like someone who's been given a list of chores by their parent when they were 10 years old or whatever. No, this is you evolving into someone who goes, I'm hungry. That is what I want. I eat it. I put it in my mouth. It is so amazing. I feel so good. And notice it. Again, in the workbook, there's places for you to do this where you write down what you ate and how you felt afterwards. Because guess what? You have to notice that. And it really helps to keep track, because we're busy and things fly in and out of our heads, and we're like, okay, how did I feel? I have had this feeling before. What did I eat? Yeah, make notes. Like you're your own little science experiment where you're learning how to take care of yourself and what makes you feel good. Because certain foods make certain people feel good, and certain foods make other people not feel good. For example, my husband loves hot, spicy food, like bring it on. That makes me feel awful. That's like food in general. I mean, that's an extreme thing because, hot sauce or whatever that stuff is. I mean, that's an extreme example. But you guys, it's like that for food in general, too. Like, people have different likes, and those likes are reflective of their individual bodies, and that's important. So when you're eating something, take a note of how you feel. Notice, hey, when I feel like this and I ate that, I felt great. Okay, I'll give you an example for me. So last week, I don't know, it doesn't matter, but I was kind of feeling, and I went to Panera. I don't know if you guys have Paneras where you are. I go there sometimes, and I don't know why. I looked at the menu, and they had this green shake, and I'm like, I don't know. I think I'm going to just try that. And I felt so good afterwards. And I'm remembering that. And I don't know what was in it. It was green, but it had definitely fruit in it and stuff. It was delicious. It was amazing. I felt my whole body perk up after I ate that. I'm remembering that because I know how important it is to remember that. But you guys remember that too. Remember when you have something. Remember how you felt. Remember how you felt afterwards. Now, I got to tell you, it was in the afternoon. And for me, usually I'm very wary of super sweet stuff in the afternoon because I've noticed, for me, not for you, for me, it makes me feel bad. So I don't do that because I care about myself and my body and I want to feel good. So when I ordered that green thing, I'm like, God, if it's really sweet, I don't know if this is going to make me feel terrible or not. I don't know why. I don't care. It made me feel great. So I'll remember that. So next time I'm feeling the way I was then, I might try to have that again and I'll see how I feel. And next time, maybe it will make me feel great, maybe it won't. But if it does, I'll go, this is a really good thing for me to have when I feel like this. It seems 2 times it's made me feel great. Okay, I know I'm being really rudimentary here, but I'm telling you guys, you're worth thinking about. You're worth taking care of. It's worth it for you to have some mental energy focused on your food. I remember when I was a dieter and I was feeling fat or whatever, I would not even think it was that I was worth taking care of with food because I clearly had, calories on my body I could eat. So it's this terrible feeling where you're like, well, I don't know, it doesn't matter. I mean, it does matter. It matters a lot. So take care of yourself and don't just say, don't treat yourself any less fabulously than you treat your own child. And if you guys are moms, or if you're not, you can imagine even if you had a kid, like you'd want to take care of them, right? And that was a really big learning for me, to treat myself as I would if I was my own kid. I would take care of myself. I wouldn't yell at me if I overate while I was trying to build my healthy thin mentality. If I ate too much just sitting, I'd go, that's okay. You're learning. Take it easy. And the next time you eat will be another opportunity to connect eating with hunger. Julie, good. I'm glad I can see that still be a problem. Yep. And I know this is back. I'm reading Julie's comment about giving up the scale. I know that's really hard, but I promise you, as weird as it feels, and I used to weigh myself all the time, at least once a day. Oh my God, I probably usually twice a day when I got up and before I went to bed or something. It's a hard thing to give up, but it will free you. And it's not because you're just going to go, oh, wow, look, I'm not even going to know if I gain weight. You will know because you'll be listening to your body. Now, I'm not saying we can't always feel every pound on our bodies, but if you're constantly eating past satiety, you're going to gain weight. Oh, yes, you will. And it won't matter if you're eating kale with, carrots and low-fat dressing. It doesn't matter. If you're overeating, overloading your stomach with any food, you will be gaining weight. And even if it's low-calorie food, it trains you to overload your stomach. So don't do that. Like that was an old diet adage, probably still around, where fill up on things that are low calories, so that you get to chew a lot and you don't put that many calories in. Okay, great. So you're stuffing yourself full of lettuce. That's not how you want to train your body to feel. You want to feel good. You don't want to overload yourself with crunchy vegetables that you don't even want, that don't even taste good in your mouth because you're not hungry for them. No. If you're hungry for some protein, some nice chickens, fish, whatever, some tuna fish with mayonnaise, eat it. And when your satiety is calm and you feel good, and how it is when you're hungry, it's hard to think about something else. You're going, okay, yeah, I really would like to eat this. And then you feel yourself kind of calm down and you're eating, but maybe you start thinking about other stuff instead of just the food. That's a signal that you may be getting close to having had enough. And then you say, I'm not sure, and this is going back to the post about feeling like a failure because you can't connect with hunger. Allow yourself the opportunity to say to yourself, I can eat again soon. If this doesn't cut it and I feel really hungry in an hour or half an hour or 10 minutes, I'll eat some more. Fine. That's fine. Okay? It doesn't have to be mealtime and then nothing, and then mealtime, then nothing. That is a way that we used to eat. You don't have to eat that way. I don't eat that way at all. And then you could say, and I talk about this a lot because I know this is an objection. Well, if you have a family or trying to eat with someone, yeah, you can work it out. You can have so yesterday for me, it was my husband's and my anniversary, so we were going to have dinner, and it was going to be kind of special. Our kids were going to be there, and I was really looking forward to really great, yummy seafood I love. But it was like 3:30, 4 o'clock, and I was hungry. I wasn't going to make it then. So this is a really special occasion for me. Do I say, okay, no, I'm just going to wait till then? No, I had some food to hold me over. And did I eat less last night because of that? Yes. Who cares? I enjoyed it tremendously because I was hungry again, but I didn't not eat at 3:30 or 4, I can't remember, because I was going to eat, at 7, because I was hungry then. And my body and I are in tune, and my body appreciates that. And in that way, and this is something all of you guys can do. It's not hard. It just takes the commitment to being connected and to reflecting on your true past and educating yourself that when I do this, I feel good. When I do that, eat that, I feel poorly. I feel bad. I lay in bed at night and feel, when I overeat at a meal because, this goes into a next question about fearing hunger. If you fear hunger, and some of us do, because you've been on a diet, and yeah, when I was a dieter, I feared hunger so much because hunger was miserable. I'd feel weak, and I would oh God, it's 3 in the afternoon. I'm so hungry. I know dinner's not till 7. I'm this next 4 hours are going to be really hard. So you learn to fear hunger, right? So with your healthy thin mentality, you never do. For example, my example from yesterday, I would never fear hunger because I know that if I'm hungry, I'm going to eat something. And it's, what I ate yesterday before dinner was small. It was some rice with some leftover Indian food on it. It was amazing. Held me over. I didn't satisfy my hunger as I might have but since I was looking forward to a different kind of fancy meal, I ate just to calm it down enough. I was probably a little edge of a hunger left, but I wasn't miserable, right? And then I could wait and then enjoy a really fabulous time. So that's how you use your hunger. It's your tool. It's your guide. The scale isn't. Replace the scale with your hunger, okay? Your hunger is beautiful. Don't be afraid of it because, and really to the person who asked the question about fearing hunger, and again, this is in the workbook too, guys. If you've gone through the workbook and you're asking questions like this, how when you see a movie once and the next time you see it, you notice all this stuff you didn't notice the first time. Go through it again. Go through it a lot. Everything in there was drawn on not just, 12 weeks of my experience. That was 5 years of my first 5 years of my healthy thin mentality baked in there. Now I didn't even have to ever think about it again after that until I started doing this to share it. But, the first 12 weeks are definitely the biggest adjustment. But, revisit these concepts. Revisit me saying to you, don't fear hunger, because if you're hungry, you can eat. And you fear hunger because of your diet mentality that is lingering in your head. And you need to get rid of that diet mentality so you don't have this constant worry. And I would say in all the comments I get, the biggest theme is worry. Everyone's worried. Everyone's worried about fearing hunger, or worried they're not going to have enough, or worried they'll make a wrong decision. It's worry, 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 which sadly is very reflective of our world today, right? So instead of getting caught up in that worry, what's our big tool here with building your healthy thin mentality? Staying in the moment. Stay in the moment. We have our, if you visit our website, I'm going to put this on there soon. I have it on a different website now. But our little necklace says, stay in the moment. Stay in the moment. That's your tool. Hunger is your tool. Your scale is not your tool. Hunger is your tool. Staying in the moment is the broader concept of hunger being your tool. In other words, you're staying in the moment and you're asking yourself, am I hungry? So all the worry, all the fear, all the everything, yes, I can talk about stress eating, yes. All that, just boil it away. Sitting in there in this beautiful moment, and even if you're having a hard day, guys, we're alive, okay? We're only alive for a brief time. The older I get, the more I know that, right? You're here in this beautiful moment in my life. Am I hungry? Yes, then eat. If you're not, delay. Not don't eat, just delay. Because you'll get to eat really soon. We're lucky that way. We get to eat a lot, right? I'm met frequently. So stress eating. Yeah, I got a chapter on that in the book, in the workbook. Yes, people eat for emotional eatings, not just stress, because they've not connected eating with hunger. They've connected it maybe because of how they were raised by their parents or whatever, just as a habit to, oh, I need to chew or whatever. Okay, you can break that habit. A habit is your best friend or your enemy, but build habits that are good for you. And a really happy, wonderful habit is if you feel stressed and you have that urge to eat, just say, wait, I feel stressed, I have an urge to eat, because in my head I've paired those two. But every time I break that connection and I say, yes, I'm stressed, but food is not going to help. Food actually will probably make it worse, right? Every time you say, I'm just going to delay, and if I'm still stressed but I'm hungry, then I can eat, right? And legit hunger, meaning, you've got some cues and you've taken the time, gone through the workbook, maybe taken some time and figured out your individual hunger cues, because we're all a little different. And when you do that, every time you delay eating until that hunger comes, that stress relationship with food and eating will fade, okay? Because I used to do that too. And I used to make a huge bowl of popcorn that I didn't even like because it wouldn't have butter or salt or anything or oil or anything on it. Remember air popped popcorn? See, I'm going way back. It would be like eating styrofoam, but I would be stressed or nervous or worried. And it doesn't help you. It doesn't make you feel better. And you end up with this bloated stomach of styrofoam. It's not enjoyable. Instead, say, I'm stressed, take action, do whatever else. Think about why are you stressed, confront that, think about it, do what you need to do to alleviate that instead of wasting your time and energy on chewing, okay? Then when you actually are hungry, have something you like. Like for me, when I eat popcorn now, because I go back and forth, but lately I haven't eaten a lot, but sometimes I like it again, and I get the fattening kind, and it's delicious. And I say fattening, I mean butter and salt, and it's cooked in oil, and I love it, but I eat way less of it because I'm sitting there enjoying it, and it's lovely, and it's such a nicer way to live and to be, I promise. So just keep breaking that connection between stress and eating, and connecting the eating with hunger. And I promise you, that habit, it will go away. It will go away. Let's see. All right, this is another, this is just a word thing I wanted to go over. I was looking at I kind of look around at what the new diets are now, and Mayo Clinic Mayo Clinic is, you guys probably know, is a big, fancy, well-established academic setting for research and hospitalization. They do great work. But they had this, I just looked at their diet page, and again, it's the same thing. There's nothing new. And one of their little things, if you join their program, was motivation. And so in general, people who are promoting diets and all that stuff motivate you by saying, silly little phrases. And what I want to do for you, instead of motivate you, is educate you. because motivation comes and goes, right? When you have knowledge and education, it's with you. So the education that I want to give to you is based on you reflecting on your life, right? Because there's nothing more, powerful than you understanding you. So as you're looking for motivation, change that word to education. So you are aware, you understand how you got where you are, and then you make decisions based on that smart wisdom that you now carry. Instead of having to be motivated by someone, giving you, if you eat like this for a week, you'll lose 5 pounds or 3 pounds or whatever it is. And those kind of really short-lived, stupid motivational things. Can't even think of any right now. I used to know a ton of them, but it's so weak, and it's so easily dismissed, and it's so based on how you're feeling in a certain day. Education and knowing things about yourself, understanding how you got where you are, like I just said, that is so much more important. And the education of and connection of you with your body, like of you knowing, educated about your own body. Like, I know when I eat this, I feel great. And when I eat this, I feel poorly. And that when my body feels like this, I'm not really hungry, I'm thirsty. And when my body feels like this, I know I'm just really tired. That's education about the most important thing in the world, you, right? Educate yourself. Know who you are, know what you like, know what makes you feel good, know what makes you feel bad. And when you're sitting at that table and you've got beautiful food in front of you and you're like used to eating it all, just say, how do I feel? What is my real reaction when I do this? Do I feel good? No, I feel pretty lousy. I go lay on the couch and I feel crappy, and then I go on a diet the next day. Okay, well, now you know this, and let's start applying it by just giving yourself the stay in the moment gift where you're like, okay, it's there. I'm just going to see if I can delay. And when I'm hungry, I can eat that. But right now, in this moment, I am not hungry. So I'm not going to put this in my body. It's still mine. It's still available to me. It's still beautiful. And I can save it, or I can remake it, or whatever. And it will be so much better. And as you get good, as you get experience with your healthy thin mentality, you'll learn some things such like it's less expensive than dieting by far. Like, I went out to dinner last week and I ordered a whole chicken. Was I going to eat the whole chicken? No, but it was like the half chicken, which I probably wouldn't have eaten all that either, but I would have shared it with my husband, was like $18. And the whole chicken was like $22 or $24. So it was a nice restaurant, with this amazing chicken. Well, I got the whole chicken because then for $6 more, whatever it was, I have this great food with sides and everything in my refrigerator for later on that weekend or whatever it was. Yeah, I guess it was weekend. So, I'm not saying that's a cheap price for chicken, but I'm just saying in general, it's great. It's freedom. And I love fried chicken. And it was wonderful to have it. And I ate it over the next couple of days. And it was great. When you're a dieter, you don't do that. You go, okay, well, I'm not going to put that on my plate because I'll eat it all. No, there's no way I was going to eat that all. I knew that I wasn't going to eat a whole chicken, but it's those kinds of things that you'll figure out. And Gabby, can you talk? Okay, yes, it is free. It is free and natural. Of course, it is. This is what we're trying to reconnect with. And the diet industry is money grubbing. I used to work at Nutrisystem. I can tell you from the inside. I talk about that other days, but this is a long time ago, and I worked there for a year, and I saw really awesome people gaining all their weight back and coming back so sad. And that was like, I gotta tell you, it still took me another 15 years to figure out that diets don't work, but I saw from the inside, guys, those industries are about making you a customer for life. They're not about helping you. And the Mayo Clinic and all was a different category, trying to help people, but no one's put the time and effort into because there's no money in it, honestly, to thinking, okay, if I connect with Mother Nature's signals, wouldn't that be smart? And yes, it would be really smart. And yes, you have them. And if you can't hear them because you've dismissed them for so long, like I did, just start. You listen. You'll get them back. Your body is so much tougher than you know. And if you just give yourself a chance, you will get it back. Okay? Guys, obviously I'm trying really hard to get this message out there because I know how sad it is to live with a diet mentality. If you like, share, subscribe, do that stuff, then YouTube gives me more, like, I don't know, exposure. And that's what I'm trying to do. I would love to get to 2,000 subscribers soon. So anyway, it's great to have you with me. Thank you for asking questions, you guys who did. And I'll be back. I'll be back soon, next week for sure. On Monday, I'm going to try to do another post, a shorter one, in the middle of the week too. So again, great to have you guys with me, and I will be back soon. You can do this. Yes, you can.